How to determine the gauge color you need to order for your springs, part number 335. Some springs, the manufacturers at where the clip is at the top will have painted it a different color. Each color represents a gauge. So there's red, like this. There's also green. There's yellow. There was black and purple. And each of them have a different tension. Now, all of our springs are 3/8 inches in diameter, but the wire size is different, and that's what creates the different tensions. You will notice on our product page, the different colors correspond to a gauge size. There's red, green, and then we have what's called yellow-black. There used to be a yellow and a black that looked like this. They were so similar in gauge, just less than a point off. We now just carry the yellow and call it yellow-black. So if you have black, you want to order the yellow, and then we also have purple. If your color has worn off of your spring, or if the manufacturer didn't put a color code on the spring itself, you can figure out the gauge of the wire used by doing a math formula. To do the math formula, you are going to need a tape measure and you're going to need a Sharpie. When you have your spring and you pull it apart, you'll see how you have each individual coils. So when you're going to count your coils here, you want to go to a part that's not stretched out. So you might need to go more towards the middle of your spring, and we are going to count 20 coils. So I like to draw a line where I'm going to start at my first coil, and then I put a dot on each coil. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And now I'm going to draw another line. I'm going to double check my count just to make sure I have counted 20 of these coils. Since they're tight together and they have the coating on it, it can sometimes make it hard to see. So we're going to make sure I count 20. Once I know my count is accurate, I draw another line at the bottom of my 20th. And so that's where I'm going to measure, from black line to black line. So now we're going to take our tape measure. I start it at the 1 so we can get an accurate reading. So I put the 1 of my tape measure on the top of the line and I measure down to my bottom. And this one is at about 1 inch. So if we take 1 inch, then divided by 20, that equals 0.05. Now, if you look on our website, the closest gauge we have to that 0.05 is 0.051, which is our purple. Now, because I'm using a tape measure, your measurement might be slightly off, and so that's why I got 0.05 instead of 0.051, but that's very close, so I want to go with purple. Here's another example of a different one that we can do. This one has a less tension because it's easier for me to pull apart. And so we're going to start and figure out the tension by doing the same thing. I'm going to start where I draw a line, and then I'm going to count 20 of these coils. And sometimes bending it over can make it easy to see the individual coils. And then I'm going to put a dot on each coil, counting to 20. Once I counted 20 coils, I'm going to draw a line at the bottom of my 20th, and we're going to measure with our tape measure. Again, I line it up at the 1 on my tape measure, so it's easier to get an accurate reading. And here I'm more at 7/8 of an inch. So our math formula would be, we're at 7/8 of an inch. We need to convert our fraction into a decimal, so we take 7 divided by 8, and so that is 0.875. Now that we have our decimal, we take 0.875 divided by 20, and then that equals 0.04375. So this is another case where your measurement might just be slightly off, so you'd want to round up to the nearest gauge or round down, whichever is closer. So this one would be the closest to, on our website, the 0.044 gauge, which is the green. Window springs can be ordered on our website, windowpartscenter.com. Thanks for watching.